Psyche Truth. Life, wisdom.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Erica from Vetra Yoga and Fitness. I'm coming to you today with Stella the cat, a 20-minute yoga workout for digestion. And of course, when our digestion is improved, we feel a lot better. We have usually more energy, feeling lighter and happier, and just overall better. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be feeling more energized. So go ahead and grab your mat and let's get started. So we're going to start today in downward facing dog. I like to start in downward facing dog by coming to my hands and knees, planting my hands firmly on the ground. Sorry, Stella. And then tucking my toes and lifting my hips up and back. Just take a moment to settle into this first pose. We're kind of starting with a semi-active pose right away. So spread your fingers wide. Make sure your index fingers are more or less parallel to the outside edges of your mat. Rotate your biceps forward, making a lot of space between your shoulders and your ears. Put a soft bend in your knees as you pedal out your feet, just kind of getting used to having your hips a little bit above your shoulders. This is also a fundamental inversion. Let your head hang loose. Sit your hips up towards the sky as you lengthen your heels down towards your mat. Feel the backs of your legs stretch. Feel your body just getting a little bit longer here. Let's take a couple more breaths, just beginning to focus on your practice. You've got the next 20 minutes to devote to nothing but feeling better, moving a little, stretching a little. Then as you're ready, just look between your hands and step your feet all the way up to the top of your mat for a forward fold. So in your forward fold, you're welcome to keep your hands on the ground. You could grab opposite elbows. If you want to create a little bit more traction for your neck, you could interlace your fingers and put them on the back of your head, just sort of using a little bit of added weight to put a little more distance between your vertebrae. Cervical vertebrae. And usually when we forward fold, we want to keep the stress out of the back, so your back should be pretty long, and in order to make that happen, you're welcome to bend your knees as much as you want to. You could even just rest your belly on your thighs. Just a little bit of a stretch for the back of the body. And from here, we're going to take it into our first twist. So twisting really can kind of facilitate digestion, facilitate movement in the intestines. So with your feet close together, plant your left fingertips. Bring your right hand to your right hip crease. You're going to put a bend in your left knee, keeping your right knee straight or straight-ish. And then start to turn your chest to the right side of the room. Now you can keep your right hand on your right hip, or you can start to reach it up towards the sky. Try to keep your shoulders away from your ears, and then if you feel comfortable in this, you can put your whole left palm down on the ground and look up towards your right fingertips. You want to try to keep your neck long and your spine long while you do this. Just a couple of breaths here, just getting into this motion. And then as you're ready, take your right hand back to your hip crease, all the way down to the ground. Neutralize for a moment. Maybe pedaling your knees out. And then to switch sides, place your right fingertips just in the center in front of your feet. Take your left hand to your left hip crease. And keeping your hand on your hip, start to turn your head and your chest towards the left side of the room, putting a bend in your right knee this time. Try to gaze up at the ceiling and then either keep your left hand on your hip or take it up towards the sky. And as we just kind of hang out and breathe here for a few breaths, I just want to go ahead and mention I've had a lot of requests for digestion videos, and I'm assuming since you clicked on this video, it's probably because you've got some sort of digestive issue going on. So let me know, what's going on for you. Is it you have sort of a heartburn situation, or you get an easily upset stomach? Maybe you're not quite regular, whatever it is. It's very common, unfortunately, to have digestive issues, so anything that we can do to kind of ease this discomfort is a huge relief. So when you're ready, just bring your left hand back down to your hip, turn your gaze to the ground, come back to forward fold. Place your fingertips on the ground, bend your knees as much as you need to do this. As you inhale, lift up halfway and lengthen your spine. And then exhale, fold one more time. Taking this right into chair pose, so your feet should be pretty close together. It's okay if your heels are just a little bit separate. Transfer a little more weight back into your heels. Keeping your fingertips on the ground, start to sit your butt down a little bit, maybe a little bit more. You can come up to parallel with your mat. It depends on how much you want to challenge yourself. And then hug your core in, engage your core, lift up your arms. Take your knees close together. And then if you look down, you should be able to see your toes in front of your knees, right? So your knees should never come out. That puts unnecessary pressure on your kneecaps. So think about rather than putting your butt close to the ground, think about moving it back as if someone was pulling you by the waistline of your pants back towards the back of the room. Lift up your arms. Pull your fingertips far from your tailbone. Open your heart towards the front of the room. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, take your hands to prayer. So we're going right into our second twist. Inhaling to lift your heart. And then as you exhale, bring your left elbow to your right knee. As you do this, you want to try to keep your knees parallel with each other. So sometimes what tends to happen is our right knee and our right hip tends to travel back with us. So if you can, pull your right hip back towards the front of the room, towards the front of your mat, and then really use your hands here. Press into your hands to twist your chest even a little bit further around. Gaze up past your right elbow. Sit a little bit lower in your chair and breathe really, really deeply. It's really important to breathe deeply, especially when you twist. You want to keep a lot of air in your spine so that you don't compress anything. On your next inhale, come to center, lift your arms up. And then as you exhale, fall forward, straighten your legs as much as comfortable, and let your head release. Take a couple of breaths here before we move to the other side. Place your fingertips on the ground. Inhale to halfway lift. Pull your shoulder blades down your back and glance forward. And exhale, fold again. This time, chair pose, squat. Make sure your knees don't come forward too much. And then lift your arms up. And as I said, you can make this as challenging as you want. You can take a pretty shallow chair pose if you don't feel like going so far today, if maybe you're not feeling too well, or you can take it a little bit deeper. It's completely up to you. Make sure everything's facing the front of the room. Shoulders, chest, knees, feet. Bring your hands to prayer. Keep your heart open. Press your palms together. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, twist to the left. Bring your right elbow outside your left knee. And then right away, look down at your knees and check in. Make sure that left knee doesn't start kind of traveling back in space with you, right? So it might mean that you don't twist quite as far, but keeping the integrity of the twist is really important. So you can use your right tricep, your right elbow to really kind of give you some leverage to twist a little bit deeper. Press your palms into each other and take your gaze past your left elbow. Keep your neck nice and long. Think about reaching the crown of your head far away from your tailbone. And like I said before, keep those breaths really, really deep. One more deep breath in. And one more deep breath out. And then on your next inhale, come to center, gaze up, reach high. Exhale, fold forward once again. Take an inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, release. Plant your hands. We're going to come back to plank pose. So step one foot back, the other foot back. Hold here for a couple of breaths. Engage your core. think about trying to inflate your back. So instead of sagging, try to lift up through your belly button. Take one more deep breath in, and on your exhale, come to lying all the way on your belly. Coming into baby cobra pose. So first things first, untuck your toes. Let your legs come far and straight out behind you. Think about pressing your big toes into your mat at the same time as you try to point your big toes towards the back of the room. So what that does is prevents your ankles from rolling out too far, right? So you want everything really straight. Keep your hands just under your shoulders, spreading your fingers wide. And then without crunching your neck, you don't want to look up too much because you want to keep a lot of space in your cervical vertebrae. So keep your gaze kind of towards the front edge of your mat, right? So just a few inches in front of your head. And as you're ready, inhale to lift your chest off the ground. So you can use your hands a little bit to let you come higher, but most of the work should be coming from your back, that space right between your shoulder blades. So act like you've got a pencil or a water bottle or something between your shoulder blades and you're trying to squeeze. Draw your elbows towards each other and then slide your shoulder blades down your back, making a lot of space for your neck, keeping your gaze forward and down so that you keep that length, right? Press your pelvis down into your mat. And you can engage your glutes, but again, most of the work is really coming from your back, not your butt, not your hands, right? Press your toes down. And you might feel your kneecaps lift. Let's just take a couple more breaths here. Lifting a little higher, and you're welcome if you want to go further to lift your hands off the ground. Last inhale here. And then release on your exhale, bring your chin to your mat. Coming into bow pose. So this is similar to cobra, it's just a couple steps further. So keeping your chin on your mat, lengthen your arms alongside your body, palms facing up. Now I'll walk you through this in a few steps, and you're welcome to stop anywhere that you want. This pose is also really good for digestion as it kind of compresses the front of your body. It really kind of stimulates more activity, right? So slide your shoulder blades down your back and then lift your chest up just like we did before. Now you can keep your hands on the ground or you can start to lift them, really kind of reaching for your toes with your fingertips. Again, keep your gaze just down a little bit. Now you can stay here. If you want to go further, float your feet off the ground. And you start to engage the legs a little more. If that's going well and you want more, lift your thighs off the ground, bend your knees, and either stay here or reach back and grab your ankles or the outside edges of your feet from the outside, right? So now, this is the beginning of bow pose. If you want to go a little bit further, roll your shoulder blades back and down your spine, open your chest, and then use the strength of your legs to kick your feet into your hands, almost rolling onto the soft part of your belly. And at this point, you can take your gaze up. And let that strength of your legs open your chest and your shoulders. You're going to feel a really nice stretch across the front of your body. Legs are really active here. Try to keep your knees not together, but not far apart. So they're kind of tracking back towards the back of the room. So let's take one more breath here. And then as slowly as you can, release down, nice and soft. Release your legs, bring your chin back to your mat. Setting up to come back to downward facing dog, place your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, and you can use your knees or not, but on an inhale, we're going to push up to plank pose. And then exhale our hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So from downward facing dog, we're going to take another twist. As you're ready, step your right foot between your hands. And really spike up your left heel over the ball of your left foot. You're going to feel a pretty big stretch in the bottom of your left foot. Straighten your back leg as much as you can. Make sure that your right knee is tracking right directly over your right ankle. Again, the same thing with chair pose, right? You don't want your knee popping in front of your foot, in front of your toes. From here, you're going to put your left tricep on your right thigh. And then bring your hands to prayer. And then start to twist to the right. So this is called prayer twist. And it's very similar to what we did in chair pose. It's just in a lunge variation. So again, use your hands, press into your hands, draw your palms down towards your belly button to get a lot of opening in your chest. And then work to keep your hips square to your mat. So you don't want your left hip twisting too much with you. You want to keep your left hip pretty square with your right. And if you'd like to modify, if you want to take this down a notch, you're welcome to put your back knee on the ground. Just a couple more breaths here. Gaze up past your right elbow. Really twist from the bottom of your spine all the way up to the base of your head, right? To the top of your neck. And then as you're ready, gently release. Frame your right foot with your hands. Step your right foot back to meet your left. And lift your hips up to downward facing dog. Getting ready to do the other side. Step your left foot between your hands. Knee over ankle. Straighten that back right leg as much as you can. Spike up your right heel over your right toes. Engage your core. And then take your right tricep to your left thigh. And you can stay just like this, or you can put your hands together. And go for kind of a straight line between elbows, right? From right elbow to left elbow. And then as you press your hands together more, you might be able to spin a little bit more open, remembering not to take the right hip into the twist with you. Gaze up past your left elbow. Activate your inner thighs, they'll help with your balance. And then really press down into the ball of your left foot, that'll help keep you up as well. Again here, modifications are welcome. You can put your right knee on the ground. Even if you didn't do it on the other side, everybody's different. Some of us are dealing with, some kind of pain or discomfort on one side and not the other. So just listen to your body. Take a couple more breaths. And as you're ready, gently release. Hands on the ground to frame your left foot. Step back to plank pose this time. We're going to go through one more vinyasa. Lower down halfway or all the way to the ground. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. From here, come down to your knees. You're going to swing your feet out in front of you and lie all the way down on your back. So from here, I'll take you through one final twist. Straighten out your left leg in front of you. Just kind of relax on your mat. Make sure your shoulders are softening down. Hug your right knee into your chest with both hands. And just stay here for a moment. Just kind of take a few small circles right in the hip joint. What we're doing here is just applying a little bit of compression to the ascending colon. As we get ready to twist, go ahead and move your right knee just a little bit to the right so that you clear your rib cage. So it's almost like you're moving your knee towards your armpit. Keep your left hand on your right knee, take your right arm out to the right, and then begin to twist over to the left. So you're just taking your right knee across your body. Now you don't have to touch the ground with your knee, you can stop wherever you feel a good twist. The important thing to keep in mind is ideally you want to keep both shoulder blades resting on the ground. And then eventually your right knee might make it to the ground on the other side. That's not really the goal. The goal is just to get a nice, easy twist, easy stretch here. And you're welcome to keep your left hand on your right knee, or you can take it off, whatever you feel more comfortable with. To finish the twist, take your gaze to the right. And just take a nice, slow, deep breath in and out through your nose here. And then let's release. Take your right knee back into your chest. Give it one last squeeze. Straighten out your right leg next to your left leg. So for the other side, draw your left knee up into your chest. Hug with both hands the front of your left shin. A couple of slow, easy hip circles in either direction. This time applying a little bit of pressure to the descending colon. keeping your right leg nice and straight, your shoulders softening down on your mat. Move your left knee towards your left armpit, clearing your rib cage. Release your left arm out to the left, and with your right hand, start moving your left knee across your body. And again, this is a spinal twist, so one side will probably be a little looser or a little tighter than the other. That's totally fine. Just go as far as you need to go to feel a good, healthy stretch. Never forcing anything, especially with a twist. Softening both shoulder blades down towards your mat, and then take your gaze over to your left fingertips. And try to soften whatever you can here. Just breathe and relax. And then as you're ready, take your gaze back center. Left knee comes back into your chest. This time, leave that knee there, hug your right knee in as well. And just take a couple of circles, keeping your hands on your knees, acting as kind of a steering wheel to massage your low back. Shoulders soft and down as always. Last pose is going to be happy baby. So keeping your knees bent, you're going to take them a little bit wider, reaching inside your legs to grab the outside edges of your feet with your hands. And this is a hip opener. So again, shoulder blades down, press your tailbone down towards your mat at the same time. Your goal is to get your whole spine down on your mat. And then you're going to point the soles of your feet right up at the ceiling. So opening your legs wide, acting as if you were trying to pull your knees down outside your arms or outside your rib cage towards your armpits. And some people like to stay still here, other people like to kind of rock a little bit back and forth. And breathe into any points of tension that you have. Think about getting heavy and relaxing and releasing. A couple more breaths. And then nice and slow release. If there's anything final you need before Shavasana, before you rest, go ahead and take it. Otherwise, straighten out your legs in front. Or really come to any position that will let you completely relax for the next few minutes. Palms face the sky to let your shoulders open. Your feet can fall open, let your hips release. Relax your mouth, your teeth, your tongue, your jaw. Relax your whole face. And just as you start to breathe easily and slowly, take a mental scan of your body and see if you're holding tension anywhere. Breathe a little bit into that area. And completely relax. Now start to just wiggle your fingers and toes gently. Stretch your arms overhead. Stretch your feet out in front of you. Take a big good morning stretch. And as you exhale, draw your knees into your chest. And slowly work your way to a comfortable seat by either rolling over to one side or just sitting straight up. And that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching and following along. I really hope this video helped you, and I hope that you feel better soon. Feel free to favorite this video, subscribe to Psyche Truth, check out my website at vetrafitness.com, contact me anytime. I'm always open to questions and feedback, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.